We are at Ben Davis High School in Indianapolis, Indiana. I am Kevin Vanderbush, the strength and conditioning coach for all sports here. I started at Ben Davis in 1984, just out of college. I was hired here to oversee all 20 boys and girls sport teams as the strength and conditioning coach, the first one at this school. Back when I started in the mid-'80s, strength and conditioning at the high school level was almost non-existent. We were still dealing with a lot of myths. Female athletes didn't necessarily lift, baseball players didn't want to bulk up, basketball players didn't want to lift because they felt like it would affect their shot. So back in the mid-'80s, we had to develop, kind of a concept where, yeah, these are the myths, but this is what you can actually accomplish. That not only include educating the athletes, but also included educating the sport coaches, the parents, and the administration. Back in 1999-2000, our school went through a major renovation. So at that time, we were able to actually design a room specific to what our needs were. The room itself is set up in a way to where I can fit 50 kids on upper body, 50 kids on lower body, because our class structure is such that we have a split routine. A lot of schools have gone kind of with a rack system. We believe in kind of a standalone system where in the short amount of time that we have kids in here, we want them to be able to rotate and move and not have any time that they've got to set up equipment. So once we had the equipment necessary to run the class, the second item that we needed to make sure that we had was to be able to accommodate the injured athletes. So we wanted to make sure that we had machines that a kid who couldn't grip a bar could use the machines. And the same thing with the lower body. We had to have some equipment that would allow for that. Our third sense of priority was the after-school program. The class covers our base routine, but we wanted to have enough equipment that we could do some variety after school with some supplemental lifts. Back in 1999-2000, when we had ordered equipment initially, we had about 25 pieces of hammer equipment. And 20 years later, that equipment still was in great shape. Everything from the pads to the design of the equipment, we felt like it was a top quality equipment maker. So durability was the first thing. The second thing was that I have felt that the engineering that goes into the hammer equipment takes care of everything that I need. I mean, I like big solid pieces of equipment. I like the color schemes that they have. I like the way that the finishes are. It just looks like what it should look like in an athletic weight room. Back when I first started in 1984, Ben Davis had never gotten past a sectional in football. Since we've been able to start a strength program, the football team has won 358 games. We've had 9 state championships, 20 Final Fours. Our program has changed dramatically. We've seen the same thing in the other sports. Our basketball team had never been past the sectional. We've won multiple state championships, boys and girls. We've had nationally ranked teams, football, basketball. We've had a number of other sports that have done well. Our track team has won multiple state championships. We've had a lot of individual state champions. So the successes of our athletic programs in the last 38 years since we've started a strength program is kind of indicative of what can be done by taking the athletes you have and making them better. So my philosophy is that where a lot of places you're going to see a lot of different flavors, here it's chocolate and vanilla. We keep it very basic. And I think it needs to be simple so that our athletes know what they're getting into. They know what kind of resistance that they're using. We don't change the lifts up a whole bunch because every time that we change, there's a reteaching process. So by keeping the system the same and very structured, my students understand what's going on when they get in here. They know when they make progress. And we have found over the years that even though we don't change as much as most people do, when we evaluate the program on performance, on injury reduction, on building self-confidence, which is an area that I think a lot of schools don't necessarily look at as closely as they should, that we accomplish what we need, keeping things very simple. We've always been a big school, but we weren't successful athletically till we made the most out of our athletes and used the resources that were available.